Here.
No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
And here we go. It's Friday. This is Mike Lodge, the business advisor. I'm glad that you've joined me. It is Friday, TGIF, right? Time for us to sit back, relax, do a little bit of rest, watch some movies, get a good cup of coffee, and sit down with a friend. I love Fridays and I love the weekend because it's the only time that I get to really take off. However, I do get calls, I still get email, and I always respond to everything that goes on with my clients, even on the weekends. I take a few minutes every single day, sometimes every minute, depending on the issue, but I'm always answering questions. Listen, I have been talking about, as you know, the layoffs in the United States. I truly believe that the unemployment numbers that are being generated by the federal government are totally wrong because they don't take on the information or the data that represents the layoffs that are going on in the United States. I want to thank Mr. Kian, and I hope that's right. He is with the website CoinGecko. I'm seeing a lot of ums this morning. That's not right. Remember, in speech and also in voice and articulation, we're not supposed to use all the time. I always forget that. Probably because I'm not a professional at this. But let's talk about what CoinGecko was saying. Now, what they did is they went and they looked at all of the industries that are being affected by layoffs. And so they have a report out that says consumer and retail still among hardest hit by tech layoffs in 2023. So if you look at the consumer field, in 2022, there were 19,856. Now, we've only been in 2023 now for 1 month. Now, the 19,856 for 2022 looked at all of the months. So for the first month of January, 12,679. That's not good when you only have 1 month of data to look at, and it's almost as much as 2022. In retail, in 2022, there were 20,014 layoffs. January of 2023, 10,904. Others, we're not quite sure what others is, but it could be anything. There were 5,676, 2023, 14,619. Healthcare, there were 15,226 laid off in 2022. So far in 2023, it's 2,286. Transportation, there were 15,957 layoffs in 2023, 951. In finance, in 2023, there were 12,879. That was 2022. In 2023, we've hit 3,247 thus far. In food, in 2022, it was 11,228. First month of January. I'm not talking well today. I'm sorry, I'm off. There were 1,015 laid off. In sales, in 2023, there was 2,601. January of 2023, 8,040. Real estate, in 2022, 9,932. In 2023, 594. In crypto, there were 6,820 jobs laid off. In 2023, so far, there's been 2,806. So technology layoffs that began amid challenging conditions last year have continued into 2023, with big tech giants like Google and Microsoft cutting thousands of headcount each. So with no end in sight for restructurings, we updated this research study examining the number of employees laid off by technology companies across sectors from 2022 to this year. Now, remember this article, we only have data for January of 2023, and the numbers are not good. They're rising. They're big numbers. So when we look at the unemployment numbers, and then we compare it to how many people are being laid off, it's not a good sign. This is not a good economy. It means that businesses see that the economy is not strong enough to support such high headcounts in their businesses. So they're beginning to lay off because that's the number one expense in any income statement that you look at in a business. Salaries and wages. So they've got to cut. They've got to cut. Same thing needs to happen in the federal government. We have such a debt crisis at the moment that we need to start making cuts. And that means some people have got to go. It's got to happen. If private industry is doing it, the government needs to do it also. They need to address the debt and the spending that the United States government is doing at the moment. If we in private industry have to do it, so does government. You just can't keep spending. Excuse me. My goodness. You just can't keep spending and spending and spending. You've got to make some cuts. I'm happy that I saw Senator Durbin this morning. He spoke before the Senate in the Senate chamber and said there's got to be some negotiations done. There's got to be some give and take here. In other words, you've got to start cutting spending. And that's what private industry is doing at the moment. Let's read on here. It's talking about consumer and retail sector companies are still among the hardest hit by the technology industry layoffs in 2023. Excuse me. It says technology companies in the consumer sector have recorded the highest numbers of layoffs at the cumulative 32,535 with 19,856 jobs cut in 2022 and 12,679 in January 2023. This ranked the consumer sector as the second hardest hit by layoffs in which the year of 2022 and in 2023 to date. The retrenchments in January 2023 were mainly due to the 12,000 that were let go from Google, resulting in the consumer sector's 2023 layoffs already amounting to 63.8% of 2022 layoffs. I'm gonna post this article in the comments down below, so go down and read it because it's a really in-depth article, and it's something that we really do need to understand of what's going on in the labor market. When you have people being laid off, that means that we do not have a strong economy. It means that businesses have taken a look at the economy going forward and said, okay, we are going to have to do some restructuring here. We have got to begin cutting our costs so that we can survive this recessionary period that's coming, that's going to hit all Americans. So that's what businesses are doing. They are looking at what they're doing. Now, as I said yesterday, Meta, Zuckerberg, said that he was going to start laying off mid-management again. Now, they've already done a whole bunch of slew down at the lower levels. Now they are looking at the mid-management levels and what they're going to get rid of. Amazon CEO, former CEO and former founder, came out yesterday and said, listen, you guys have got to buckle down because it's going to be tough. We are going to have a tough 2023. Don't go out there and buy all those televisions and new cars and all the gadgets and everything. Save your money because you're going to need it, which I have been preaching to you guys forever and ever now. So we have to look at the unemployment numbers that President Biden keeps touting of how good it is when we're having massive layoffs going on. Those numbers are not being reflected in that unemployment number. And at this time, it looks as though we continue the trend over the next 3 months. Because remember what I've said. I said the first quarter of 2023 was going to be massive layoffs, which we are seeing. We saw it in 2022, and now we're seeing it in 2023. We're going to have these layoffs. People have got to be prepared. If you're in the technology or the consumer service industry, get ready for some more layoffs. If you're in the finance industry, get ready for some more layoffs. The banks have already said they are going to start laying more people off. So the issue is we cannot depend upon the unemployment numbers in the jobs report that comes out of Washington, D.C. It is not accurate. Because we have had massive amounts of people losing their jobs, and that's not being recorded in those numbers. So I don't have any confidence that the economy is where it's at the moment per the White House and per President Biden. They are massively off base because the reporting and the data is off base. We have this problem in government where our reporting mechanisms are not up to date. And they are recording items that should not be recorded, and then they're not reporting items that should be reported. And so we have a national issue that we're not getting good data. We're getting bad data in, bad data out. That's what happens here. The same thing that happened with COVID. If you looked at the data, you had over-reporting. You had people who were in there just for a foot injury, and they may have tested for COVID, and they said they had COVID in the hospital. So there was a whole bunch of stuff that was going on that we didn't have clean data. Not at the federal level and not at the state level, because the state levels were even worse. Because they wanted to build up their storyline. The problem is that storyline was based upon the creation of bad data. And so we have to take these reports that are coming out of the United States government and out of state governments very lightly because they mean nothing because they're not reporting the full story. And I think Congress should look at how do we report our unemployment numbers, our job numbers, because it's not accurate at the moment. And the economy and the CPI is not accurate at the moment because it's not looking at everything. It's just choosing just a few items to look at. So we have a problem. We have bad data, and we need better data. Listen, if you want to have more access to me, go to my website, www.lodge-co.com. If you have a business question, send it to, or if you have anything to do with the economy and you want to share it with me, send it to thebusinessadvisor@gmail.com. Again, that's thebusinessadvisor@gmail.com. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear if you have been laid off and how the company explained it to you, why you were being laid off. Whatever you feel that you want to share with me about your personal economy and your personal experience in this job market and layoff situation, I want to hear from you. Because that's the only way that I really know if things are legitimate out there is when you guys tell me based upon your personal experience. So don't exaggerate it. Tell me the truth. That's all I ask for is the truth. I ask for the truth from the government, but I never get it. Okay, you guys. I want you guys to go out and have a great weekend. Today's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Have a great weekend. I'll talk with you soon. Bye-bye.